This is the story of a war that ended before your coffee got cold. A conflict so brief, it barely registers as a footnote in the annals of global warfare. Yet, its dramatic brevity and stark outcome offer a profound glimpse into the power dynamics of a bygone era. We are about to explore the Anglo Zanzibar War, a confrontation that lasted a mere 38 minutes. It stands as the shortest recorded war in human history, a testament to overwhelming force and a stark reminder of imperial dominance. This isn't just a tale of speed. It's a narrative woven with ambition, defiance, and the brutal efficiency of colonial power. Our story unfolds on August 27, 1896, on the vibrant, strategically vital island of Zanzibar. This was a time when the British Empire, a global superpower, cast its long shadow across continents and oceans. Facing this colossal force was the Sultanate of Zanzibar, a once powerful trading hub now navigating the treacherous waters of European colonial expansion. Zanzibar, an archipelago off the coast of East Africa, held immense importance. It was a crucial center for trade, particularly in spices and ivory, and a strategic coaling station for ships traversing the Indian Ocean. For decades, Britain had exerted increasing influence over the Sultanate, culminating in the Heligoland-Zanzibar Treaty of 1890, which formally established Zanzibar as a British protectorate. This agreement, seemingly benign, fundamentally altered the Sultanate's sovereignty, placing its foreign policy and, crucially, its succession under British purview. The fragile peace of Zanzibar was shattered by the sudden death of Sultan Hamad bin Thuwaini on August 25, 1896. His passing ignited a dangerous succession dispute, a common flashpoint in colonial territories where local traditions clashed with imperial mandates. The British had a preferred candidate, Hamad bin Mohammed, who was seen as amenable to their interests and policies. However, a different figure emerged to challenge this carefully orchestrated transition: Khalid bin Bargash, the late Sultan's nephew. Khalid, a more nationalistic and less compliant figure, saw an opportunity to assert Zanzibari independence. He swiftly moved to seize the palace, proclaiming himself the new sultan without British approval, a direct violation of the 1890 treaty. This act of defiance set the stage for an inevitable confrontation. Khalid's actions were not merely symbolic. He began to fortify the palace, mobilizing his loyal guards and supporters. He amassed an arsenal, including several artillery pieces and a small armed yacht, the HHS Glasgow, anchored in the harbor. From the British perspective, this was an unacceptable challenge to their authority, a direct affront to their established protectorate. The British consul and diplomatic agent, Basil Cave, immediately issued an ultimatum. Khalid was ordered to stand down, lower his flag, and vacate the palace by 9 a.m. on August 27th. The message was clear: British authority would not be questioned. Khalid, however, misjudged the depth of British resolve. He believed that the British would not resort to military action, or perhaps that international pressure would prevent it. His refusal to step down, fueled by a desperate hope for sovereignty, sealed his fate and that of his fledgling reign. As the deadline approached, the British naval squadron in Zanzibar harbor prepared for action. Under the command of Rear Admiral Harry Rawson, the force comprised 5 warships: the cruisers HMS St. George, HMS Philomel, and HMS Raccoon, and the gunboats HMS Thrush and HMS Sparrow. Their guns were trained squarely on the Sultan's palace, a stark symbol of imperial might. At precisely 9 a.m. on August 27th, the ultimatum expired. Khalid bin Bargash remained defiant, his flag still flying over the palace. 2 minutes later, at 9:02 a.m., the British ships opened fire. The bombardment was immediate and devastating. Naval shells tore through the palace walls, reducing its defenses to rubble. Khalid's small armed yacht, the HHS Glasgow, attempted a brave but futile resistance, firing its antiquated cannons before being swiftly sunk by British broadsides. The battle was a brutal, one-sided affair. Khalid's hastily assembled forces, armed with outdated rifles and a few artillery pieces, were no match for the precision and firepower of the Royal Navy. The palace, constructed primarily of wood, quickly caught fire, sending plumes of smoke into the morning sky. The sound of cannon fire echoed across the harbor, a terrifying symphony of destruction. Within minutes, the resistance crumbled. The palace guards, facing overwhelming odds, began to flee. Khalid himself, realizing the futility of his position, escaped through a back exit, seeking refuge in the German consulate. By 9:40 a.m., just 38 minutes after the first shot was fired, the firing ceased. The Sultan's flag was lowered, signaling the end of the shortest war in recorded history. The speed and decisiveness of the British victory were absolute, leaving no doubt about who held ultimate power in Zanzibar. The consequences of the 38-minute war were stark and immediate, highlighting the brutal efficiency of colonial power. The Zanzibari defenders suffered catastrophic losses. Estimates suggest that around 500 lives were lost, primarily due to the devastating naval bombardment and the ensuing fires. Many of these casualties were non-combatants, caught in the crossfire within the palace grounds. In stark contrast, the British forces sustained minimal damage. Only one British sailor was reported injured, suffering a minor wound. This extreme disparity in casualties underscored the technological and military superiority of the British Empire, demonstrating the futility of resistance against such overwhelming force. The battle was less a contest of arms and more a punitive demonstration of power. With Khalid bin Bargash in exile, the British swiftly moved to install their preferred candidate, Hamud bin Mohammed, as the new sultan. Hamud was a figure known for his pro-British sentiments and his willingness to cooperate with imperial policies. His installation solidified British control over Zanzibar, ensuring that future successions and governance would align with their strategic interests. The new sultan immediately began to implement reforms dictated by the British, including the abolition of slavery, a move that had been long advocated by Britain but resisted by previous sultans. This swift resolution and the installation of a compliant ruler underscored the complete shift in power. Zanzibar, while nominally a sultanate, was now firmly under the thumb of the British Empire, its destiny irrevocably tied to London's directives. The war, though brief, permanently altered the political landscape of the island. The Anglo Zanzibar War, despite its astonishing brevity, left an indelible mark on history. It serves as a potent symbol of the era of high imperialism, a period characterized by European powers asserting their dominance over vast swathes of the globe. The conflict was a stark demonstration of the gunboat diplomacy, often employed by colonial powers, where military might was used to enforce political will and secure strategic interests. The war's outcome reinforced the notion that resistance to the British Empire, particularly from smaller, less technologically advanced nations, was often futile. It sent a clear message across the protectorates and colonies. British authority was absolute and would be defended with overwhelming force if challenged. This brief engagement solidified Britain's control over Zanzibar, ensuring its continued strategic importance for the empire's trade routes and naval operations in the Indian Ocean. Beyond its immediate impact, the Anglo Zanzibar War offers a fascinating case study for historians and military strategists. It highlights the critical role of naval power in projecting influence and the devastating effectiveness of modern artillery against traditional defenses. It also underscores the political complexities of succession in colonial territories, where local customs often clashed violently with imperial mandates. History's shortest war, a mere 38 minutes of intense bombardment and swift capitulation, remains a captivating anomaly. But what if it had lasted longer? What if Khalid bin Bargash had somehow managed to hold out, even for a few hours or days? A prolonged conflict, however unlikely, could have drawn international attention, potentially involving other European powers with interests in East Africa, such as Germany. It might have sparked a wider uprising among Zanzibari nationalists, leading to a more protracted and bloody struggle for independence. The British, while ultimately victorious, would have faced a more significant drain on resources and reputation. A longer war might have altered the trajectory of Zanzibar's future, perhaps delaying the abolition of slavery or fostering a deeper, more entrenched anti-colonial sentiment. It could have changed the nature of British administration, forcing a more conciliatory approach rather than the swift imposition of their will. The very brevity of the conflict ensured a clean, decisive outcome from the British perspective, allowing them to quickly establish their preferred order without prolonged resistance or international interference. The Anglo Zanzibar War, in its dramatic conciseness, offers a unique window into the mechanics of imperial power at its zenith. It is a story that, despite its fleeting duration, continues to intrigue and inform, reminding us of the profound impact that even the shortest conflicts can have on the course of history.